Dr. Emily Carter wiped the sweat from her brow, her fingers trembling with excitement as she unearthed the last bit of dirt covering the artifact. The archaeological site on the planet Epsilon Prime had yielded many fascinating finds, but nothing like this. The artifact was a smooth, metallic sphere, emanating a faint, pulsating glow. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. "Emily, you have to see this," called out Dr. Raj Patel, one of her colleagues. His voice held a mix of awe and disbelief. Emily rushed over to where Raj was standing. He pointed to a series of intricate symbols etched into the artifact's surface. As she traced her fingers over the markings, a chill ran down her spine. They were ancient, yet strangely familiar. "What do you think it is?" Raj asked, his eyes wide with curiosity. "I have no idea," Emily admitted, "but we need to get this back to the lab on Earth. This could be groundbreaking." The team carefully packed the artifact and prepared for their journey back to Earth. The artifact's strange energy seemed to hum with anticipation, as if it knew it was finally going to reveal its secrets. Back on Earth, the research lab was abuzz with activity. Scientists and researchers from various fields gathered to study the artifact. It wasn't long before they discovered something astonishing. The artifact could only be seen and interacted with by humans. Alien species were completely oblivious to its existence. "This is incredible," Emily said during a meeting with the research team. "This artifact could change everything we know about our place in the galaxy." "But why can't the aliens see it?" Raj pondered. "What makes us different?" The questions only deepened as they continued their studies. The artifact had the ability to bend reality in subtle ways. Objects placed near it would shift slightly, colors would change, and sounds would distort. It was as if the artifact was playing tricks on the fabric of reality itself. "This is dangerous," warned Dr. Helen Morris, a physicist on the team. "We don't fully understand what we're dealing with here. We need to be cautious." Emily agreed, but she couldn't shake the feeling that the artifact held the key to something much bigger. They had to keep pushing forward, even if it meant venturing into the unknown. As the days passed, the team's discoveries became more and more remarkable. The artifact's energy seemed to resonate with human DNA, hinting at a connection that went beyond mere coincidence. Emily and her team were on the brink of uncovering something extraordinary, but they also knew that with great power came great risk. "We need to keep this under wraps for now," Emily decided. "If the wrong people find out about this, it could lead to disaster." But secrets have a way of coming out, and as the team's research progressed, it became clear that they were not the only ones interested in the artifact. Shadows loomed on the horizon, and Emily knew that they were about to face challenges far greater than they had ever imagined. "Stay vigilant," she told her team. "We have no idea what we're up against." The stage was set, and the discovery of the artifact was only the beginning. What lay ahead would test the very limits of human ingenuity and courage. Dr. Emily Carter's heart raced as the research lab's lights dimmed, highlighting the artifact's eerie glow. It had been a week since they brought the sphere back to Earth, and the questions surrounding its nature had only multiplied. The artifact's ability to bend reality intrigued the team, but it also raised serious concerns. Emily stood before a panel of military officials and government scientists who had come to witness the next phase of their experiments. Dr. Helen Morris adjusted her glasses, preparing to explain their findings. "We've observed that the artifact's energy interacts with human DNA, but it's more than that," Helen began. "It seems to resonate with our very perception of reality, subtly altering it in ways we are only beginning to understand." Colonel James Roberts, representing the military, leaned forward. "And what practical applications does this have? Is it something we can use to our advantage?" Emily knew this question was coming. The artifact's potential as a weapon or tool for manipulation had already crossed her mind, but she was wary of the consequences. "We believe it can alter environments, making it seem like objects or people are in different places than they actually are. It's essentially an advanced form of camouflage, but on a level we've never seen before." The panel murmured amongst themselves, clearly intrigued. General Markov, a stern-faced man with a no-nonsense attitude, spoke up. "We need to explore its full capabilities. This could be a game-changer for our defense strategies." Emily exchanged a look with Helen, who nodded slightly. We've devised a series of controlled experiments to understand its limits and potential risks. But I must stress, we're dealing with something that could be incredibly dangerous if mishandled. The room grew silent as the team initiated the first experiment. They placed a small object, a simple metal cube, near the artifact. As they activated the artifact's energy, the cube seemed to blur and shift, appearing to be in multiple places at once. "Incredible," Colonel Roberts whispered. "Imagine what this could do on a battlefield." But Emily wasn't just thinking about battlefields. She was thinking about the moral implications, the potential for abuse. "We need to ensure this technology is used responsibly. If it falls into the wrong hands—" Her thoughts were interrupted by a loud crash. The doors to the lab burst open, and a group of armed men stormed in, led by a figure Emily recognized, Karan, an alien intelligence officer from a rival species. They had somehow learned about the artifact. "Hands up! Step away from the artifact!" Karan demanded, his weapon aimed at Emily. Chaos erupted as the team scrambled to comply. Karan's eyes flickered over the artifact, confusion and determination etched on his face. "You humans have something that doesn't belong to you. Hand it over." Emily's mind raced. The artifact was their responsibility, and she couldn't let it be taken. "You can't even see it, Karan. How do you know it's here?" Karan's gaze hardened. "We know it's here, and we know it's dangerous. Surrender it, or we'll take it by force." General Markov signaled his men to lower their weapons. "We need to negotiate. There's no need for violence." Emily stepped forward, heart pounding. "Karan, listen to me. This artifact is not just a weapon. It's a key to understanding something far greater. We need to work together." For a moment, Karan seemed to consider her words. Then, reluctantly, he lowered his weapon. "You have one chance to prove that. The artifact seems to be a key to an ancient technology, possibly designed to prevent a catastrophic event. We believe it's connected to a network of similar artifacts spread across the galaxy." Karen's eyes narrowed. "And how do you intend to prove that?" Helen stepped forward, holding a small device they had created to interface with the artifact. "This device should help us communicate with the artifact. If we're right, it will activate the network and reveal its true purpose." As they initiated the connection, the artifact's glow intensified, filling the room with a pulsating light. Suddenly, the lab's power flickered, and a holographic map of the galaxy appeared, pinpointing several locations where similar artifacts were hidden. "This is it," Emily whispered. "This is what we've been looking for." Karan studied the map, his expression unreadable. "We need to secure these locations. If these artifacts are as powerful as this one, we can't let them fall into the wrong hands." General Markov agreed. "We'll dispatch teams to each location immediately. This is a race against time." However, not everyone was convinced. Dr. Luis Alvarez, one of the team's biologists, voiced his concerns. "What if activating these artifacts triggers something we can't control? We're dealing with forces beyond our understanding." Emily nodded. "We need to proceed with caution, but we can't ignore the potential threat. We have to act." As the teams prepared to embark on their missions, tension between the humans and aliens flared up. Karan's second-in-command, Lieutenant Rilan, expressed his distrust openly. "How do we know you humans won't use this power for your own gain?" General Markov responded firmly. "This is about survival, not domination. We need to work together." Karan, sensing the growing unrest, addressed both groups. "We have no choice but to trust each other. If we don't, we risk mutual destruction." With a plan in place, the teams departed for the various locations marked on the map. Emily and Karan led the main expedition to a remote planet where the most significant artifact was believed to be buried. The journey was fraught with danger, from navigating treacherous terrains to dealing with hostile wildlife. Despite the challenges, a sense of camaraderie began to form between the human and alien team members. They shared stories, learned about each other's cultures, and realized they had more in common than they thought. Upon reaching their destination, the team faced their biggest challenge yet, accessing the artifact buried deep within an ancient, heavily guarded temple. Working together, they deciphered the complex security mechanisms and traps that protected the artifact. Inside the temple, they found an artifact much larger than the one on Epsilon Prime, its energy pulsating with a power that made the air hum. Emily and Karen approached it cautiously, aware of the immense responsibility they bore. "Ready?" Emily asked, glancing at Karen. He nodded. "Let's do this." As they activated the artifact, a surge of energy filled the temple, and the ground trembled. The artifact began to resonate with the one on Earth, and a sequence of lights and sounds filled the air, indicating that the network was coming online. "This is it," Emily said, her voice filled with awe. "We're unlocking something ancient, something powerful." But as the energy continued to build, Emily realized that they had also triggered an alert. A powerful, malevolent force, long dormant, had been awakened. The stakes had just been raised, and the true test of their alliance was about to begin. "We need to get back to the ship," Karen shouted. "Now!" As they raced against time, Emily knew that the real battle was just beginning. They had to harness the power of the artifacts, not only to protect themselves, but to save the entire galaxy from an impending catastrophe. The temple's walls trembled as Emily, Karen, and their team sprinted toward their ship. The artifact's activation had awakened something dark and powerful, and they needed to regroup and plan their next move. Back on the ship, Emily contacted the other teams. "Report in. What's your status?" One by one, the teams responded. Most had successfully located and activated their artifacts, but the news wasn't all good. The energy surge had alerted a malevolent force, and hostile entities were converging on their positions. Emily turned to Karen. "We need to understand what we're up against. These artifacts were designed to protect the galaxy, but from what?" Karen's expression was grim. "Legends speak of an ancient enemy, a force that nearly wiped out the creators of these artifacts. They sealed it away, using the artifacts to create a barrier. By activating them, we may have weakened that barrier." General Markov's voice crackled over the intercom. "Our defenses are on high alert, but we need a strategy. How do we fight something we don't understand?" Helen, who had been studying the data from the artifacts, spoke up. "The artifacts aren't just keys, they're weapons. They can manipulate reality on a massive scale. If we can harness their power, we might be able to contain or even defeat this enemy." Emily nodded. "We need to bring the artifacts together. Their combined power might be our only chance." As they plotted their course, the ship was rocked by a sudden explosion. Alarms blared, and the crew scrambled to their stations. A fleet of hostile ships had arrived, their weapons trained on Emily's vessel. "Shields up," Karen ordered. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers." The ship's engines roared to life, and a fierce battle ensued. Emily and Karen worked side by side, their combined skills and determination driving them forward. Despite the odds, they managed to outmaneuver their attackers and make the jump to the rendezvous point. When they arrived, they found the other teams waiting, each with their artifact. The artifact's energies pulsed in unison, creating a powerful resonance. Helen began the process of linking them together. "This is it," she said, her voice steady. "Once they're connected, the artifacts will form a unified field. It should be enough to push back the enemy and restore the barrier." As the artifacts linked, a blinding light filled the room. The energy was overwhelming, but Emily and Karen stood firm, guiding the process. The ship shuddered as the unified field expanded, pushing outward into the void of space. The enemy forces, sensing the change, launched a final desperate assault. The crew held their ground, their determination unwavering. The unified field grew stronger, enveloping the hostile ships and disintegrating them upon contact. "It's working!" Helen shouted. "The field is stabilizing." The light intensified, and a shockwave rippled through space. The malevolent force that had threatened the galaxy was pushed back, sealed once more by the power of the artifacts. The crew watched in awe as the unified field shimmered, a testament to their victory. As the energy subsided, Emily and Karen stood at the ship's viewport, gazing at the stars. They had done it. They had saved the galaxy. Karen turned to Emily, a rare smile on his face. "We made a good team." Emily nodded. "Yes, we did. This is just the beginning. There's so much more to learn, so much more to protect." The crew celebrated their hard-earned victory, but they knew their work wasn't over. The artifacts had unlocked a new era of cooperation and discovery, a chance to build a future where humans and aliens stood together against the darkness. Emily took a deep breath. feeling a sense of hope and determination. They had faced the unknown and emerged stronger. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would meet them head-on, united by a common purpose. As the ship sailed through the stars, Emily knew that their journey was far from over. But with allies like Karan by her side, she was ready for whatever came next. The galaxy was vast and full of mysteries, but they would face it together with courage and conviction.